Get ready for another video in Alex's garage. One of the disadvantages of using your phone to record videos while you're working on your car is you might just break your phone. Although I don't know that if I broke this while I was doing a video on the car. Nonetheless, the camera lens or the glass cover over the camera on my Galaxy S20 Ultra is broken. And so I'm going to go ahead and replace this. Now, instead of doing this myself, I actually got a quote. I'm not going to name the company that gave me the quote, but they wanted $100 in parts alone just to replace the glass on this. And so I thought I'd look it up and see how much the parts were. Well, 2 replacement glass kits. This kit comes with 2 replacements. Was $18 on Amazon. So I think $100 for parts alone was a little exorbitant. So what we're going to do today is, to start off our weekend, is we're going to replace the glass on this phone. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the phone out of its ironic screen protector. Now, the design of the S20 has this massive camera bezel, and there's really not a screen protector that's going to do anything more than protect the edges. In this case, something the phone was probably set down on something that was hard, and it just chipped the camera right there. Who knows what it is, but I just find a little irony that I had a first step in fixing it is to take off the protector. So the next thing is to evaluate what came in the kit and make sure that you have everything that you need. Now, this kit comes with just about everything that you need. It comes with 2 glass replacements. So I mean, imagine if you screw one up, you can go back and do another one. It calls a dust absorber, which is actually just a piece of tape that you can use to pick up dust. Some guide stickers, things to help you to get it nice and square. Comes with 2 sets of wipes, one that's wet and one that's dry. Comes with a lint-proof cloth, kind of one of those things you use for cleaning your glasses, and a set of tweezers. I'll probably get some advantage out of this. I would have spent $18 on these tweezers. They're pretty nifty. And a hobby knife with a square blade and a pointy blade. And so the idea behind the hobby knife and the blade is to help you get the glass pieces out without touching them. Obviously, it's glass, right? And you don't want to scratch yourself. And so that's the first thing that we're going to do. When you read the broken English instructions, it says go on the YouTube video. Well, the YouTube video is pretty informative. And there's a lot of these instructional videos on the YouTube, but it's also quite entertaining to read English. And I know it's kind of weird to say it like that, but anyway, these are really pretty good instructions. They give you some really good details, like making sure that you don't heat when you use the heat gun to soften the tape behind here, not to heat it over both. They give you both centigrade and Fahrenheit temperatures. 158 degrees temperature is what you don't want to exceed. Now, my heat gun has 2 settings, low and high. And I think what I'm going to do first thing is get an idea of how hot the low setting gets, just to make sure I don't damage the equipment here. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here is just confirm that I know how hot 158 degrees is before we move on. So I'm going to do that test, and then we'll come right back. All right. So preliminary test showed this thing gets over 280 degrees. So let me show you real quick how I did the test. This is just a regular meat thermometer, and with the heat gun about 3 or 4 inches away, I just ran the machine for a short period of time. You can see right there I'm almost at 200. Yeah, 295. So that's the lowest temperature I can get on this with sustained heat. So I'm just going to have to be very cautious about not letting it get too hot. I think obviously not letting it run, continually like that. And if I keep if I can keep the heat farther away, then that might be an advantage. I suppose I can just figure out what a good measurement is and keep it on that. Well, it looks like if I keep it close to a foot away, then I won't get over that threshold. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is just make sure I don't get it too hot. I think if I don't get it too close, if I keep it farther away, I shouldn't have a problem. I think about a foot away would do the number. All right, moving on. All right, so something that I can see here is going to be a problem is bits of glass, little tiny bits of glass. You can see just it's like glitter, little tiny bits of glass that are going to come off of this, and then you have to keep applying heat with a heat gun, which blows the air, right? So you're blowing little tiny shards of glass everywhere. So what I'm going to do to kind of mitigate that is I've taken some duct tape, and I've made these little loops of duct tape. And the idea here is that as I start to collect these little pieces of glass, I'm gonna grab them with this duct tape. You can see how the duct tape is nice and sticky, and it will catch all this glass, so that I don't have it blowing all over the place when I need to reheat the glass. So that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. We'll see if we can move forward on this and make some progress. Now, as I start to reduce the glass and pulling the holes out, I want to get it in larger pieces, and that makes it easier to clean up, and obviously less little shards. But you run into problems with trying to balance the heat and getting that in there. So it would be a tedious video for me just to show you the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and break away here and start working on some of these spider cracks and see if I can get some larger pieces off of here. And as I make some progress, I'll check back in on the video and I'll let you know how it's going. All right, on we go. All right, quick little check-in. First of all, this tape scheme is a great idea. Definitely use use some duct tape, and it makes it real easy for you to manage all these little shards that are going to be everywhere. Second of all, if you're not already wearing glasses, some safety glasses would be definitely something to have a look at. You're picking at glass, and it's connected to tape, and it's going to come flinging it at you if you're not careful. Next thing here is when you're looking at where you start making progress, once you get under the tape, there's glass, then tape, and then plastic. You don't want to mar this plastic, and you certainly don't ever want to touch the lens. But once you get to the point where you're moving the tape, that is probably the best way to manage the glass. The heat gun softens the adhesive behind the tape, and so if you work more with the tape than the glass, you'll make a lot better progress that way. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm I'm going to go ahead and move on from here, and we'll catch back in when I make a little more progress. All right, so you can see I'm making some progress here. I got a nice flap of the tape coming off, and the glass is still on that tape. But if you work underneath the glass or underneath the tape, it'll be a lot less, pulling at the glass and then having to come back and get the tape later. Now, one thing I'm realizing here is as I'm working the razor blade, the direction that I'm pushing it, you don't want to push toward one of the lenses. I mean, you can work around the outside edges of them, but in this case, like I'm working to this one, instead of going right here and pushing toward the lens when I'm underneath the tape, I'm going to the outside of it, going to the left and going to the right. And the idea is that if the tape lets go, I mean, obviously there's a hole there, there's no tape there. Once you get through, you don't want the razor blade to, or the hobby knife here, to all of a sudden jump forward and scratch the lens. So just kind of run tangentially and run around the circles this way and that way, and don't go directly into it because you don't want to have to kill the lens. Just kind of work your way, go slow, mitigate the glass, keep the heat so that you can reduce the adhesive, and keep at it. I'll check back in as I get a little further. All right, so I got all the glass out. You can see there's still some residual tape in here. We're going to work on getting all that adhesive out and cleaning all this up. The remaining lenses and whatnot. I was very cautious not to, as I was explaining, not to push into a lens, just pulling tangent, running off the edges to make sure that I didn't ever let it run into one of these devices in here. So I don't think I damaged anything. Here you can see what the glass looks like when you get it all out. There you go. And you can see the duct tape did a really good job of collecting the glass as I went. So what I'm going to do now that I have the majority of the glass out of here, just so that I no longer have to worry about glass with the heat gun, I'm going to throw away this set of paper towels or shop towels here, and I'm going to make a new clean surface that I can do the adhesive removal and the installation onto. So there'll be no glass shards in here anywhere, and so that's the next step here, is just to get into the next phase here and keep cleanliness as the focus. All right, so for this next little step here, you see I've got a new clean surface to work off of here. Got no glass shards anywhere in here. For this next little step, I'm going to employ a little magnifying glass. This neat little glass will help me to get in there and make sure that everything is clean in here, that there's no obstructions, nothing fell into any of the lenses. And I want to get all of this adhesive off of here and make sure that there's any little minor glass shards that are down in there. We want to make sure everything is removed. Once we put the new glass on, anything that's loose in there is going to come bouncing back up, and it'll rattle around in there. Like here's a little shard of glass right here. Anyway, I do have another piece of duct tape ready, so I can manage these little guys, and it collects them right up, no problem. See that? So we're just going to do the cleanup on here. We're going to make sure we get all this adhesive in here and make sure that nothing is loose in there and that there's no debris in any of the orifices. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I'll check back in once we get to the next step. All right, so this next step here is irreversible without having to take it all apart again. So the very first thing that you want to do after having cleaned everything in there with a lint-free cloth and made sure that there's no dust or debris or anything in any of the bezels, the very next thing you want to do is to wash your hands, because during all this process, even if you washed your hands beforehand, you have been generating oils in your hands. So you want to make sure that your hands are not greasy, oily, sticky, or have any kind of pieces of glass on there or anything like that. So first thing off, wash hands. So that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, with this particular model, you can see the glass and the sticker are integrated. So you're not going to have to put the sticker down first and then put the glass. You don't have to worry about that in this. They're integrated. They're both together. So all we need to do at this point is make sure that we get this lined up. Do kind of a dry run here. Make sure it looks like it's all going to fit right. Looks good. Without touching any of the sticky, without getting any dust anywhere, you want to make sure that you can just line this thing up, drop it into place. Not like that. Only touching the edges. Back it into the corner. Get it lined up. In you go. Bob is your proverbial uncle. All right. There you have it. Installed in place, nice and clean. Even has the little 100x thing on there. I don't know if you can see. Where's the camera? Okay. So that, in a nutshell, is how to replace the glass on a Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now I can go start taking some pictures of working on my MG in Alex's garage. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe for more videos. Have a good day.